All right, so in this video, I'm going to work from Photopea. However, whatever I do in Photopea, you can also do in Photoshop. All right, so if you're working in Photopea or Photoshop, the tools that I go over are exactly the same. So yesterday I showed you a picture of my kids, right? And I took flowers and I brought them into the picture and I cut out the background and kind of pasted into my daughter's hair. In this video, I'm going to review with you how to copy and paste and bring an object into the picture and transform it and get rid of the background using the eraser. I'm also going to go over some adjustment tools with you as well. All of the tools I go over are tools that I would like for you to understand for our quiz on Friday. Sorry for the beeping noise, it'll go off. So the first tools that I'm going to go over that I want you to understand are your adjustment tools. Your adjustment tools can be found on your layer bar. So if you look at your layer bar, you go all the way down to the bottom, you have something that I think looks like a black and white cookie. And that's your adjustment tools. So if you click on it, they will all open. A few tools that I would like to go over with you for review include brightness, contrast, levels, and hue saturation. All right, so we're going to start with brightness, contrast, and levels. Both of these tools will change what we call the value of the picture, how dark or light something is. So you may hear me say, we're going to add a lighter value to this picture or darker values, things like that. That just means how light or dark the area of the picture, or whatever area of the picture it is you're trying to change, is. So with brightness contrast, when I click on it, another tab will open and it will allow me the option of changing the brightness of the picture, so making it lighter or making it darker. And contrast just means that it's taking away any of that middle value. So you have your like really, really, really light values and you have your really, really dark values, and anything in between it will get rid of. So it'll make it add more contrast to it. So the more I pull it up, you can see the almost like more intense it gets. It takes away that middle value, kind of separates just the dark and the lights. Once I add brightness contrast to my picture, it creates a layer on top of my background called brightness contrast. All right, and that is a adjustment layer on top of my background of my children. I can also turn this layer on and off. So using the eyeball on your layer bar, there's eyeballs next to each layer that you create. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, I should say, and hide it. It's still there, it's just hidden, and you can turn it on again to see the different changes that you made. Or maybe you're unsure, maybe you don't want to use this, so you're going to hide it for now. But you can always bring it back again. The other tool that I wanted to show you would be levels. So levels works similarly. Notice that another adjustment layer popped up on my layer bar. So I have my brightness contrast and my levels. This will allow you to adjust the light values of the picture by moving this tab here. Notice that when I pull the lighter values, the middle value tab moves. It allows me to pull and push the middle values around, and then my darker values. And notice that when I pull the darker value tab, it also pulls the middle values. It kind of locks in place. So this works similarly to brightness contrast. Both of these adjustments will change the value of your picture. The last adjustment tool that I wanted to go over with you would be hue saturation. This is a fun one. I use this a lot in my pictures. Notice when I click on hue saturation, a hue saturation layer pops up and I can make my adjustments. Hue in a picture will change the color. So if I pull my tab to the right, you can see it changes the color of the image. And if I pull it to the left, it also changes the color of the overall image. This tool is sometimes better to use when you're selecting something really specific. Saturation, let's make them a different color. Saturation will intensify the picture. It will make the picture brighter and warmer. When you take away the saturation, it takes away color. So if you were going to pull this all the way to the left, it's going to make your picture grayscale. Lightness and darkness will add light and dark to your picture. I would recommend not using this tool. I feel like it just washes out your picture or darkens it in a way that's not, I don't know, really appealing to look at. I would adjust your light and darkness using your levels or your brightness contrast. All right, so those are the adjustment tools that, I close out of here. There we go. Whoops. That I would like for you to understand for our quiz on Friday. So please make sure that you have a good understanding of all three of these tools. I'm going to go ahead and turn them off by just clicking on the eyeball, and I'm going to go back to my background. I'm going to select my background. The next thing I would like for you to really be mindful of is taking a picture, right, bringing it into your file, and then getting rid of the background. So I brought in this picture of these flowers, right? So I have my Bryn and CJ file and I have my flower file. I'm going to do Command A, or if you're in a PC or Chromebook, I believe you can do Control A, right? Command or Control A. And what that does is it selects all. So it's selecting the entire image. And I'm going to copy it. And just like in any other program, Command or Control C will copy this image. So now I just did that. So now I'm copying these flowers. And I'm going to go back to Bryn and CJ, and I'm going to do Command or Control V, and that now pastes the flowers into my image with Bryn and CJ. So now I can take these three flowers and close this out because I'm not using it anymore. And you can see on my layer bar, it created a new layer above Bryn and CJ. Those are my flowers, as you can see in the thumbnail here. To keep my layers organized, I'm going to double click on layer 1, and I'm going to name this flowers. All right, so now I have my layer called flowers. Now what I want to do is maybe get rid of the background. All right, so I'm going to get rid of the background of my flowers. I don't want this white space. So what I'm going to do is turn my background off with my children. It makes it a little bit easier. They're just hiding right now. It's making it a lot easier for me to zoom in here and get rid of some of the background. Yesterday I went over erasing the background. You can totally do that. You can use your eraser and using the options above, you can scale your eraser, make it bigger or smaller, right? You can change the hardness of it if you want to make it hard or soft by pulling this tab. And then you can go ahead, oops, okay, so notice that when I go to erase, nothing's happening. The reason nothing is happening is because I'm not on my flower layer. I was on my background. So whatever layer you're working in, you need to make sure you're selecting it on your layer bar. So right now, I want to select my flower layer. And now using my eraser, I can go in and I can erase my background. But if you remember from last week when I went over selection tools, you can also try using your selection tools to erase the background as well. My suggestion would be to use your quick selection. All right, so you have your marquee, right, which I can take and select part of the background and hit delete, and it will automatically delete it. It leaves the selection. So in order to get rid of that selection, you do Command or Control D. Think of deselect. I'm deselecting my selection. You can also try using the lasso tool, right? So the lasso tool, you can take this lasso tool and kind of draw around an area. And so wherever you start, you must end. And it creates a selection for you. And you can delete it. And then do Command or Control D and it will deselect. You can also try using your wand tool, right? Or your quick selection tool. So if I hold down, I have my magic wand and my quick selection. I'm just going to quickly show you quick selection. So your quick selection tool will allow you to pick up, is it or no? Let's see. No. You know what? I apologize because it's a little bit different than Photoshop. Maybe we'll go over magic wand. So your magic wand tool. So your magic wand tool, what happens is you can select an area. So let's say I wanted to select this white space. So I just clicked on the white space and the wand will select like areas. So right now it selected everything. It selected the white space around this picture and it selected around the flowers. So it selected my entire background. So if I hit delete, it will delete everything. So let me just show you that again. All right, so this is a great tool. So my suggestion for getting rid of a background would be either if you feel comfortable, just erase it. Use your eraser like we went over yesterday. You could try erasing and deleting aspects of it using your marquee, right, to delete. Command or Control D to deselect. Your lasso tool, right, if you wanted to draw around some of this space and hit delete, you can delete areas that way. Or using your wand tool, your magic wand tool. So your magic wand tool will pick up like colors. So for instance, if I were to select this purple, you can see that it's picking up like colors within that purple flower. Now I don't want to delete my flower, I want to delete the white space. So when I click on the white space, it's selecting the entire white space, and now I can go ahead and delete it. And that's probably the easiest way to get rid of your background, besides like erasing it as well. Especially if the background of the picture is white. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my background back on of my kids. And you can see that I have my flowers. I'm just going to go ahead and erase. I'm seeing parts of the picture still around here. So I'm going to take these flowers using my move tool, right? Still on my flower layer. I can move them around. I'm going to make them smaller, and I'm going to put them on Bryn's like ponytail, right? I'm going to see if I can kind of fit them all together. So I would do edit. I would need to scale them down. So, whoops, wrong area. I'm going to do edit, transform, and then I'm going to do scale. And now I can take these flowers and I can scale them down so that they're a lot smaller. I can also do edit, transform, and rotate, and I can rotate them too. So maybe I want them to go in this direction. Once I finish my my transformation, I can hit enter or return, and now I have my little flowers here, and I can place them on Bryn's ponytail. Right. So these are the tools that I would like you to understand for the quiz. So just make sure you can watch this video as many times as you want. Make sure you understand how to change the color of something, bring another image in, erase the background, and transform it. And again, when it comes to erasing the background or getting rid of the background, if you feel most comfortable using the eraser tool to get rid of the background, then just use the eraser tool. If you feel comfortable using some of your selection tools, like I showed, the marquee, the lasso, and the wand, you can also try to get rid of the background using those tools as well, but that is optional. All right, if you have any questions, let me know.